Welcome to the first Demarcation Media Q&A video. This video is happening because the channel just passed 3,000 subscribers. That is a big number, very big number. So I just want to say thank you to all you guys who are watching and who subscribe to the channel. You guys are awesome. And so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through some of the questions that you guys have submitted and answering them. We're going to be doing this every 1,000 subs from here. So once we hit 4,000, we'll do another one and so on. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. I've got a list here that I'm going to be looking at. Some of these usernames, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pronounce them correctly. So our first question is from Faxrid SSJ. And he asks, who is your favorite Halo character? And I will have to just go ahead and do that. I mean, how could I not say Chief? He is Halo for all intents and purposes. Now, if I had to pick a character who was not Chief, it would be him. Let's see, can he stand up? There we go. Will my camera focus? That's the question. There we go. Yeah, so definitely my top favorite would be Chief. And then Locke comes in very close second, just because Locke is he's just super cool and he's super underrated. But still, nothing will ever beat Chief. If I were to throw in a third place, that would go to Spartan Thorn. He was a super cool character, and I think he's kind of overlooked as well. He was really solid. He was a good Spartan. So, Chief is the number one. He's definitely my favorite. Then we've got Locke, and then Spartan Thorn. Our next question comes from Toe of Ultimate Doom. If you have not checked out his channel, I highly recommend you do so. I'll put the link down in the description. Go and check him out. He does some really great Mega Construx reviews. His style is very different from mine. He even throws in some stop motion into his videos sometimes. Definitely go check him out. But he asked, what do you like about creating content? And what do you see yourself changing in the future of your videos? And that is a really, really good question. To answer the first half, the thing that I really like about creating content, creating these videos, is that I'm able to help give information to people about these sets, and I would be collecting these sets regardless of whether I made videos about them. I would be collecting them, I would be taking photos of them, but the fact that I can take my camera and record these videos and then help other people make a choice about whether it's worth hunting down or not, that's the thing that I really like about creating these videos, is the fact that the stuff that I'm already doing can help other people figure out whether it's worth their time and their money or not. Now, for the second half of the question, what I see myself changing, well, already we've kind of started. You can see with the style of videos, the Dusted Off series is the start of kind of branching out beyond just reviews. And then I just got a new camera, so the filming style of my videos is going to be changing more and more. I had got to figure out how to deal with the swapping lenses and all the settings that goes on with this camera, whereas my other one did not do that. So there's kind of a lot. Definitely, like I said, branching out to other content like the Dusted Off series. I'd eventually like to maybe even get into doing some product hunting videos. We'll see. And then the visual style of the videos is going to change as well. The next question comes from Heavy Weapons Guy, and he's all over the Mega Construx Halo stuff. He's over on the Domains channel. He's over on this channel. You'll find him all over the place. He's super positive. He's a really great member of our community. And he asked, what is your favorite line of Mega that's not Halo? hands down, Destiny is my favorite non-Halo line, and I'm super sad that it's over and that the sets are now super, super expensive because it was such an amazing line. There were so many amazing figures. This Sunbreaker Titan is only one example of the awesome figures that came in that whole theme. And there was just such a missed opportunity. There was so much that could have been done with that line. Arbiter Productions asks, do you drink lead paint? And if not, why? No, I can't say I do, because I'm kind of allergic to this little thing called death. And drinking lead paint is a very great way to get death. And since I'm so allergic to death, I kind of try to avoid lead at all costs. Our next question comes from CK19. He asks, what was your first Mega Bloks Halo set / figure, and what about them got you into collecting? And to answer that question, we will go ahead, drop him in. That right there, he was my first Mega Construx Mega Bloks figure out of my entire collection. That is Trevor Reeves, the Marine. He is from the Battle for the Ark series, and he was all weathered up to give him kind of the battle-worn look. And I guess the thing that got me into collecting them was I have a McFarlane Toys Master Chief. Now I was taking some pictures of him, and I was like, this figure is really cool. Taking pictures of the Halo stuff is really cool. But the McFarlane figures are so limited in their articulation. So I was researching Halo figures, and you know, there's some out there, especially the bigger ones. I think 3A has a whole line, and they look really cool. They pose pretty well, but they're so expensive. Like one figure is like $400. So I started looking at these guys, and believe it or not, these guys actually pose better than pretty much all of the McFarlane Toys Halo figures. And aside from McFarlane, as far as I know, Mega Bloks / Mega Construx has the most complete line of Halo action figures out there. So that was the whole reason why I started buying these, is because I wanted some Halo figures to take photos of that would actually pose well, like that I could actually pose into a crouch or whatever. McFarlane figures can't pose in a crouch. Mega Construx figures? Easy. Solomon Chung asks, what is your favorite and least favorite Spartan from the 2020 / 2021 line? Well, obviously my most favorite is this guy right here. He's become the channel mascot, and he is just awesome. That blue paired with the silver and then the gray print on the armor, it's just perfect. Now, my least favorite, which honestly it's not saying too much because it's still a really good figure, but I'd have to say my least favorite is the Series 1 Blind Bags Gungnir. It's just, I don't know, it's just not a super standout figure for me. It's kind of a nice color combination, but there's nothing really amazing about it for me. Now, if I had to pick a favorite that was not the figure that became the channel mascot, I would say that spot would go to the Trailblazer, the Halo Heroes Trailblazer, just because that is such an epic figure. The white and the orange, and then the fact that it has a wash. Oh, just so good. Our next question comes from Soggy_Augie, and he asks, how'd you get into Halo? That's actually a really interesting question, because unlike probably 98% of the other Halo fans that you will talk to, I did not get into Halo because of the games. I have actually only played one level of Halo 5. Yeah, one sort of part of a level. Whichever level it was that was full of the Promethean snipers. That was like the one section that I played. It was actually the short film. Well, it wasn't a short film. It was a made-for-TV movie called Forward Unto Dawn. I would highly recommend you go and watch that if you have not already. It's a really, really good movie. It centers around Lasky when he's a cadet in training, and you get to see a live action Master Chief. That was such an awesome movie. And after watching that, that was kind of what made me go, oh, Halo's kind of interesting. And then I started researching the story and getting more into the story. And so that was kind of what got me into Halo, was the story itself, not the gameplay, not even necessarily the Spartan designs or whatever. It was the fact that it had such a cool story. And, you know, when you have such a cool story and then you cap it off with such an awesome main character like Master Chief, that's a recipe for success. Raymaster Now asks, what's better for you, Mega Construx or Lego? That's a very, very interesting question, because I don't know if I can say that one or the other is specifically better. They're both unique. They both have their kind of strengths and their weaknesses. Mega's strengths, you know, come in the fact that their figures are so articulated, and they cover stuff like Halo that Lego won't touch. But Lego's been around for a long time. They've got the quality control thing pretty much down pat. They cover all kinds of licenses that Mega doesn't, like Marvel and Star Wars. So to me, I think they're both equal, and I really like having both in my collection, because when you put them side by side like this, in my opinion, it makes both of them look better. It makes the Lego kind of blocky-ish style look a little bit more unique, and then the blocky style of the Legos makes the Mega Construx figures more realistic looking. So I think they complement each other pretty well, and I personally still collect both fairly evenly, especially like when it comes to Star Wars or like medieval fantasy stuff. That's where I'll go to Lego. Halo, hands down, go right to Mega Construx. I've seen some Halo Lego customs, and they're just, the Mega Construx style suits Halo much better. Ghostly Bricks asks, what editing website or software do you use for your videos? First of all, is there such a thing as an editing website? I guess YouTube's editor is technically an editing website. Most of the ones I know of are software. Anyway, though, the program that I use for my editing is Adobe's Premiere Pro. It's a really, really, really good program. Basically, you can do pretty much whatever you need to do in that program. I've been using it for years now. I used it to edit some of my short films years ago, and that's kind of how I learned it, and I've just kept using it. I've tried some others. I tried DaVinci. That's a pretty good editing program, but you have to have a super beefy computer for it. You do have to pay for Premiere. I will say that right away. Some of you guys might be getting excited and go, oh, maybe I can try out this program. Sure, you definitely can, but you have to be willing to pay for it. Tyler Humphrey asks, what camera or phone do you use for your videos? So I was using a Nikon Coolpix L820. The majority of the videos that you see on my channel right now are shot with the L820. That is a super solid camera, even though it's from 2013. It's like the perfect beginner camera, whether you're doing photography or video. So if any of you guys are looking into getting a camera, I would recommend you go and look that one up. It's not even that expensive right now because it's an older camera, and it will do pretty much anything you will need to do as a beginner for video or photography. Right now, I'm in the process of learning how to use a Nikon D7100. That's actually what I'm filming with right now. That is not a cheap camera, and it is not a simple camera either. So I do not recommend you jump to that one if you are a beginner. The next question comes from Charlie Rodriguez, and he asks, how many fingers do you have in your entire collection? Well, I mean, I just have 10, but I'm guessing that's supposed to be figures. So we'll go with that. We'll assume it's figures. And then how many figures do you have in your entire collection? What's your most prized ones? Well, the first part of the question I will answer closer to the end of the video. But as for the most prized ones, you can see them right here. There we go. That is kind of the majority of my most prized figures. We have all of the Chiefs from the Master Chief collection. That was such an awesome set. Despite its weird flaws, I still think that, at least in terms of looks, these Chiefs are the best, and they look amazing on camera, so that's why they kind of fall into my most prized figures slot. That War Master, I just love that orange color, and then the white makes that such an epic figure. I'm kind of disappointed that he's so rare. Like, so many people can't get him because he's so incredibly expensive. And then we have a full Noble Team. That is all of the heroes of Noble Team. Kat, George, Six, Emil, June, and Carter all the way over there. Those are just really solid figures. I really like them. George was actually my first Halo Heroes figure. And then the rest of Noble Team, I actually collected on accident. I was not meaning to collect a Noble Team. I was actually attempting to collect Fireteam Majestic because I had gotten a hold of Grant a while back, and I was like, you know what, I want to get all of Majestic. And somehow in the process, I collected all the rest of Noble Team except for Carter, and then I found Carter later I ended up paying like $7 for him. I don't think I paid any more than $8 for any member of Noble Team. So that's kind of why they fall into my most prized figures collection. Then we've got Cade tucked in over there. Cade 6, he might be one of the most rare Mega Construx figures out there. And yes, that makes him cool, because he's rare, but he's Cade. And, a lot of you guys might not know much about Cade. If you're not a Destiny player, you probably won't know much about Cade. I'm actually not a Destiny player, but again, I kind of keep up with the story of Destiny. And Cade is an amazing character. He's voiced by the same guy that does Buck, and he's just awesome. If you like Buck, you're going to like Cade. And then the last, right there, kind of on the back, you can see all of Fireteam Majestic. I'm a huge fan of Fireteam Majestic. I thought that the Spartan Ops kind of miniseries was really cool. The animation style was great. The characters were great, especially Spartan Thorn. And so I had to collect all of them in Mega Construx form, which I'm actually planning on doing a review of them all together at some point. So hopefully that'll be sooner than later. Elemental Brick Productions asks, in terms of bricks quality, which is better, Mega or Lego? That's a great question. And probably, if you ask most Lego fans this, they will say Lego is better. Mega definitely still has some kinks to work out with their system of getting their bricks properly, get the quality control proper, because you could see, like in the Pelican review, there was some really melted looking pieces. But I'd say, honestly, they're almost on par now, because there are, in some places, Lego has kind of is not the greatest. For instance, their dark reddish brown bricks have a very, very bad habit of snapping spontaneously. And for Mega, I don't know, they feel like they're pretty consistent across their colors, which is good. And especially the more recent sets, their bricks feel solid. They don't feel super cheap. So if you put them next to a Lego brick, you can still tell a difference, but the difference doesn't necessarily mean difference in quality. They're pretty even these days. Our next question comes from Waffle Boy, and he asks, what is your favorite Mega set of all time? And you're probably wondering why I'm so pulled back from the studio. And that is to fit said set. there you have it. That is my number one favorite Mega set of all time. For a couple reasons. First of all, it comes with Cade. And as I've already established, Cade is awesome. But that build, when I got this set, I was not really expecting to like that ship very much. I wanted Cade. That was the main reason I got it. But that ship is actually amazing. That thing is a work of art. It's huge. You've got building on all angles. You've got all these different facets. You have the engines that can actually be posed. You've got a ton of interior space, and it's actually solid enough for you to pick it up and still swoosh it around. So that right there is why that is my favorite set of all time. I will do a review of it, actually. I've been planning on doing a review of it for a while now. I just need to get myself together and do it. But as you can see, it is a very big set, and it's a little bit hard to fit into my studio. So that's why I haven't done a review yet. But there will be a review. Again, hopefully sooner than later. Rapid Action Animation asks, why do you like Mega Construx and what got you into making videos? And also, do you watch Mega Construx stop motions? I've kind of covered the two first points a little bit. Why did I kind of get into them? Why do I like them? Is because the first and foremost reason was for my photography. Just because they're so much better action figures than most of the actual action figure lines. And like I said too, they're the most complete line of Halo action figures out there. So that's what got me into them. And I like them because, like I said, it's the most complete line of Halo action figures out there, and Halo is awesome. And then, like I said before, what got me into making videos was I had a camera. I had these toys that I was going to be collecting and photographing regardless of whether I was making videos. And I was like, you know what? I could film some reviews. I watched some Jangbricks videos. Actually, I watched a lot of Jangbricks videos. I've probably seen most of his videos. I was like, you know what? I could probably do that. And Jang has kind of stopped doing so much Mega, which is a little sad, but that left a hole that kind of needed to be filled. So we're actually going to tie the tail end of Rapid Action Animation's question in with the next question, which is from 13 Redfire, and he asks, do you have an interest in making stop motion videos? So I have, to answer Rapid Action Animation's question, I have watched a few Mega Construx stop motions. I watched the old Mega Squad 45 stop motions, which were actually pretty cool. They did use old articulation figures, which I'm not a huge fan of, but the animation was super clean. I definitely recommend you look that up. I think it's called Assault on Squad 45 or something like that. So that was super cool. And I've seen a couple other stop motions on YouTube. I've also seen some of or actually a lot of the stuff that people post on the Mega Construx subreddit. I'll usually watch those as well. And then to answer 13 Redfire, I actually used to do a fair amount of stop motion. I'll actually throw up on the screen real quick a clip of a stop motion I made years ago. And it's still one of the ones that I'm most proud of. Just watching Hulk and a cave troll beat each other up was oddly satisfying. But the thing about doing stop motions is you have to have a camera that either has a digital shutter, like I think a lot of phones might, or you have to have a computer take your images for you. Otherwise, you actually will burn out your shutter, which I did that with one of my cameras, because cameras are not really meant to take hundreds of thousands of photos in rapid succession like that. So I burnt out a camera doing that. The shutter would not open properly anymore. And since then, I haven't really done stop motion, just because I don't really have the equipment or even the space right now to do it. But who knows? If I end up with enough space at some point, I may hunt down some equipment and see how rusty I've gotten. Phantom Kippy asks, how did you get into Halo Mega Construx? It's probably been pretty well covered by now. I needed some better Halo action figures. And Mega surpassed McFarlane by a long shot, and they didn't cost me $400 per figure. So, here I am. I'm probably going to very much mispronounce this username, but Leo Pixels asked, what franchise would you want to be a theme of Mega Construx? That is a great question. And honestly, I think if I had to pick, I would say Anthem, because basically Mega has all the molds that they really need to do Anthem figures. Well, they would probably have to change some armor, do some new heads, but they have the double jointed elite legs, which would be perfect for the javelins, and it would fit right in with all the Halo stuff and the Call of Duty stuff. So I think Anthem would be really, really epic. I actually would like to see, maybe not as a whole theme, but in the new Heroes line, you know, where we're getting stuff like Sam Fisher and Kratos and all those. I would love to see Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy. If there was a Cloud Strife figure, I would completely lose my mind. I really would. I would totally lose my mind. Musical Vulpix asks, what was your first Mega Construx set and or Mega Construx figure? We have already seen Trevor Reeves. He was my first figure. My first set, like actual set, was the Call of Duty. Dang it, now I'm not even going to remember the name. It was that little remote control, like, tank thing. I'll go ahead and throw up the clip of the video that I did about it. Gosh, this is going to annoy me. I can't even remember the name of that set. Oh, my goodness. But that was my first official set. That little tread thing with the gun, and then there was the figure that went with it. I found that set at a Dollar General, and I was like, this looks pretty cool. And I believe that was actually my first Mega Construx set review as well. Ronin Studio asks, how was your day? It's been pretty good. I spent a majority of it actually getting ready for this video. Tommy Gun Productions asks, will you ever branch away from reviews and do something like gameplays or vlogs? Yes, but I don't know how soon. Like, I think doing vlog style videos, and like I said earlier, do that with like product hunting and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool, but I'm not sure I have the resources to do that right now. As for gameplay, seeing as I don't own a game system, that would be a little bit difficult. I just use my laptop, and right now, about the only thing it runs is Minecraft, which, you know, I might do some videos with that at some point. Gameplay videos would probably be fairly few and far between, even if I did eventually end up getting, say, Halo. But it's definitely within the realm of consideration. Captain Riptide asks, how excited are you for Halo Infinite, and have you read any Halo books? I'll answer the second half of the question first. I have read, I think I've really only read like one Halo book. I think it was called Battleborn. That one was pretty good. I think it's definitely one of those ones that is not more well known. It's kind of a more of, I don't want to say a beginner book, but it was one of the author's like first books, I think. It was a solid book, but I definitely would like to read some of the other ones, especially Fall of Reach. I read some of Eric Nyland's other stuff, like The Resistors, and loved it, but I have yet to be able to actually track down a copy of Fall of Reach. As for the first part of the question, I'm very excited for Halo Infinite, but mainly because of the story. I want to see how the story is going to play out. I am a little bit worried that we're going to see Cortana and all of that storyline get dropped just because in favor of the Banished, which would kind of suck. But I'm really excited to see how the Banished get pulled in, how the Spirit of Fire's story and how all of them get brought together. I'd love to see what happens if Chief teams up with Captain Cutter and red team. That would be awesome. And I really, really would like to see a resolution to Cortana's story. Kind of have her arc be ended. Honestly, having something like Chief having to destroy her himself would hit so hard, but it would be pretty epic. All right, we are at the last question. This comes from NWR Percy 6, and he asks, how many Mega Construx figures do you own? This will also answer Charlie Rodriguez's question from earlier, and you will see why I waited to do this. So, here we go. So, yeah, and then we have that's a container of mostly Heroes figures, I believe. It's a lot of the Halo Heroes Spartans. We got all the Noble team in there. Got Captain Keys in there. We got the rookie. Yeah, the rookie's in there. Brute Chieftain. And then we have that box. That box over there is full of Destiny figures. We got Cade and Ikora and the Sunbreaker Titan and Shax in there. That box I just set in the back has all of the Master Chief Collection Chiefs. It's got Fireteam Osiris, the War Master, and Arbiter from the Chief vs. Arby set. And then, of course, we can't forget about Fireteam Majestic. And then, the last dude, Trevor Reeves. Now, this does not count any of my custom figures. It doesn't count any of the figures that I've got kind of in the pile to be sold or traded at some point. And I'm sure I've accidentally forgotten a few in some boxes here and there. But that right there is the majority of my figure collection, both Halo and Call of Duty, and then as well as the box of Destiny figures down there. Like I said, we're going to be doing another one of these every 1,000 subscribers. So at 4,000, we'll do another one. At 5,000, we'll do another one, and so on. So if you didn't get your question in time, don't worry, you'll have another chance. For now, though, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.